I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Clock to right center. Rodriguez watches, and that's going to go. Tie game, Jake Fraley. That is smacked to center field, base hit. Encarnacion Strand jogs home. Benson's on again, and the Reds are doubling up the Guardians 6-3.
Fly ball, left center field. That'll do it. Petro Armstrong going back. It's off the base of the wall. A little exclamation point from Brandon Marsh. Oh, everybody touches their bag, and the Phillies win it in the bottom of the 11th inning by a final score of 4-3.
And this one to center field. Denzel Clark on the move back after he stepped towards home plate and makes another catch.
Oh, my God. I've heard the list. I've seen the list of the greatest catches you're ever going to see in your life. If you don't have room for this one on your list, we're watching two different sports.
2 outs, the 2-2. Ground ball to first. Ball game. Murray State has done it. Upset in Durham. The Racers race on to Omaha.
Marchand at 37. And now the Panthers with a 2-0. Moving in on Skinner. Score! Bennett! 4-1 Florida.
And with that, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at am1310wdpn.com. Matter of fact, I think we got the whole show covered right there. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. I'm kidding. We had the Guardians-Reds lowlights to start you off with. We had the Murray State clinching their spot in the College World Series. We had a walk-off for the Phils. We had a huge goal for the Panthers to pretty much put that game on ice last night. We had a little bit of everything, and that wild catch for the Oakland A's last night too. It was pretty wild. So we are off and running here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, again streaming live at am1310wdpn.com. Good to be with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Sam Bourquin here. Ryan Rainsberg on the other side of the glass. Jeff Mears will be our news hawk again here this afternoon. We got lots to get to today. I want to start it off actually today. I know we're going to talk Guards, Reds. I think the Guardians are in trouble. I think they're in trouble. We'll talk Browns minicamp, little NHL, not much, but we're going to have Adam Jardy on today from the Buckeye Sports Bulletin. He's going to be coming on at 4:10. I'm sorry, from the Columbus Dispatch, Adam Jardy. And the Ohio State University has come up with a new Buckeye Sports Group. That's actually the name of that's the title. And this has to do with collecting money for NIL. It has to do with it's kind of an umbrella, so to speak, over the sports programs at Ohio State and how they're going to handle NIL, how they're going to hold recruiting, whether it's in-house or going out, to recruit high school kids or bring in transfers. And it's just like a whole new way of doing things now. A lot of universities, colleges have athletic directors, they have sports information directors, they have head coaches, and now they almost have like general managers, people that can keep the bottom line where it needs to be so they can have money in the till to bring in student athletes, to bring in new ways of attendance, new ways of generating revenue, new ways of accepting gifts from alum and boosters and businesses and the corporate world and things like that. And you're going to see this. Obviously, Ohio State probably a little bit ahead of the curve, as they are in a lot of things. You're going to see this in a lot of places now where, because of the world we live in now, with the pay for play, so to speak, to the college athletes, you're going to need somebody in charge of this. For crying out loud, you can't expect the coach to do it. He's got enough to do. And you can't expect the SIDs or the ADs to do it 24/7. They've got other things they've got to do. You need somebody to be in charge and watch the till, watch the money, watch the revenue, watch the figures, watch the whole thing. And I think that's what this Buckeye Sports Group is all about. And the Dispatch had a great article. It was, you had to read, and I did. You got to read every single word of it to get the gist of what the Buckeye Sports Group is all about. Actually, it was such a detailed article, it took 3 people to write it, okay? And we have had Adam Jardy on the show before. I said, hey, I think that's the guy we need to get. So we're going to bring Adam on from the Columbus Dispatch around 4 o'clock today, 4:10 exactly. He'll be coming up here on the show. And the poll question today coincides directly with all of this. The poll question of the day, with NIL in the transfer portal, has it affected the way that you follow and watch college sports? And it's real simple. A, yes. B, no. C, still undecided. You can take the poll question quiz right now on X, Twitter, at AM1310 WDPN, also my Twitter page, and of course, on Facebook as well. You can also drop us a comment in the YouTube channel as well. But the question is, with NIL and the transfer portal, has that affected the way that you follow and watch college sports? Yes, no, still undecided. Most people so far today have said yes. It has affected the way that they watch, that they consume, that they follow, that they keep track of. And a lot of folks, as a side note to their answer, are saying it's really hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up with rosters. It's really hard to keep up with the names of the players from year to year, school to school, sport to sport. And some people have kind of been a little turned off by that. It's made it really difficult. You know, this isn't like it used to be when a college or university got somebody from high school, recruited them, brought them on campus. They came in their freshman year. You had them their freshman year, their sophomore year, their junior year, their senior year. Now, if they were really, 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 really good, they could leave early to go to the NBA. You could leave early to go to the NFL. You could leave early to go in a bunch of different directions. It's totally different now. Now, it's more or less, who can we get that's in the transfer portal? Then we will think about recruiting kids right out of high school. And then it's come to, well, let's see who we can keep off of the team we already have so that they don't go somewhere else. And then we'll worry about B, C, D, E, et cetera, and so forth down the road. It's become an incredibly complex situation now. And I am finally understanding why even some of the best coaches to ever do it in whatever sport that it is have decided to walk away. I was like, man, I can't be that bad. All these people you got on payroll, certainly somebody's doing the work. Now I think I finally understand that this is an unbelievably huge undertaking, and you have got to dot every I, cross every T. You have to be on top of it. Now, I'm sure things are going to slide through the cracks. Some schools may own up to it at some point. They may not, and if they don't get caught, then so be it. But there's a lot going on now in big-time college sports. And at some point, I imagine there will be a little bit of a trickle-down effect to Division II, Division III, maybe even NAIA. Certainly not at the level that it is in Division I, but you will see a little trickle-down effect. I don't know if I'm sure it's happening now a little bit, but I don't think much in Division II, III, and NAIA. Mostly Division I. Johnny wakes up one day, he plays for school X. He wakes up one day and says, I ain't feeling it. I'm out of here. Hits the transfer portal button. He's gone. He's going somewhere else. Sometimes it takes days for universities or even a coach to know that somebody has left the program because it's going on all the time. You can't keep up. How many schools and universities are there at between the D1 level and the, I'll use the old term, 1AA level? That's just these two levels here. I mean, people are just transferring up and down, left and right, side to side, here and there. It's impossible to keep track. This isn't like when you used to have to request to transfer from a program. And then guess what? You had to have your request answered. You had to have it okayed. Some school says, no, we're not granting you your request. You will stay here and you will like it. Most granted the request, but you still had to get that. You had to get that in writing. Now, you wake up one day and you don't like where you're at. You don't like the coach. You don't like your teammates. You don't like your situation. You think you're being screwed somehow. You wake up and say, I'm done. I'm leaving. You get on the computer, you get on your phone, and you hit transfer. You're gone. Just like that. You're out in the free world. You're out in the free market, and anybody can come get you. That's it. And imagine how many times a day. I don't have the actual numbers. I'm telling you, it happens every half a second. Somebody's hitting that button. Somebody is hitting that transfer button to get out of their situation. And it goes on every day and it goes on all day. And you can talk to me about, well, there's certain periods of the year where the transfer portal is open, whether it's closed. I don't really think that means a whole lot. I think that's one of the things they really need to tighten up as far as the NCAA is concerned. But people are on the move left and right, and it's hard to keep track. And then just imagine the fan bases of all these teams. You used to know who was going to be on your roster that year. You used to know who was going to be on the roster. You used to know who was going to be on there next year, the year after, maybe even the fourth year. And you just counted on that group being together. Doesn't matter what the sport. Baseball, you knew the 9 that were going to be out there. Football, you knew the 22 that were going to be out there. Basketball, you knew the 5 that were going to be out there. Hockey, you knew the 8 or 7 or 8 that was going to be out there. You know who was going to be on your wrestling team, your polo team, your golf team, your skating. You knew. Now it's pew, 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 pew. It's like pinball. It's like pinball with athletes. And everybody at some point, if they're going to take this serious enough, is going to have to put somebody in charge or a couple of somebodies in charge or come up with a Buckeye sports group per se or a Sun Devil sports group or a Hurricane sports group to watch over this and make sure that it's okay and that it's on the up and up and everything's being handled and taken care of and watched over with a fine-tooth comb. Everybody's going to have one. And the schools that don't and that can't keep up with this Johnny goes here, Susie goes there world that we live in, they're going to be left by the road. It's going to be what? The haves and the have-nots. So I cannot wait to talk to Adam Jardy about this today. Not just from the Ohio State angle, but just from college sports in general, where we're going here. This is 2025. What's it going to be like in 2030, in 2035, and 2040? It's going to be amazing. I don't know if it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazingly crazy is what it's going to be. So our poll question of the day, with NIL and the transfer portal, has that affected the way you follow, the way you watch college sports? Yes, no, undecided. Hit us up on all of our social media platforms, and we'll read the results as we move along here this afternoon. All right, we're going to take a break. It's 25 past the hour. Phone lines are open now. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text the program anytime at 330-924-7088. We got lots to get to today. We got some Doobie Brothers concert tickets to give away. Big show at Blossom coming up in September. We've got tickets for the high school, National High School Hall of Fame ceremonies this weekend. We got a lot coming your way. So keep it here. 1310 WDPN.
The proud and honorable men and women of our military are still overseas, sacrificing their lives and their families' emotions for another country's freedom. Please pray for the courageous troops of our military. This salute, courtesy of Quick Fix Mobile Welding, LLC, proudly serving our area with excellence. For all of your residential and commercial custom fabrication and welding needs, call 330-529-9810. 330-529-9810. That's Quick Fix Mobile Welding, LLC. On the air, reminding everyone that freedom isn't free. It's paid for by our military.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
A couple minutes before we get you to the bottom of the hour, news and weather coming up. Hey, no rain today. No rain tomorrow. Hey, 2 in a row. That's a streak. That's a winning streak. No rain for 2 days, maybe 3. Looking forward to that. My goodness gracious. Adam Jardy, 410, Columbus Dispatch coming up today. Also, my man, Antonio Hall, is going to join us at 4:35 today. Antonio, a member of the National High School Football Hall of Fame Committee. He's going to share with us all that's going on this weekend as far as the National High School Football Hall of Fame activities are concerned, some of the big events that are going on. And Antonio will join us today at 4:35 right here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little Lake Center Christian baseball as the Tigers are moving on to the D6 OHSAA State Baseball Tournament at Munson Stadium. We'll talk a little LCC baseball tomorrow, and tomorrow as well we'll talk a little U.S. Open. Jimmy Hanlon will join us, so we'll talk a little golf and get his take on who he thinks might might make a big move this weekend at Oakmont as far as the U.S. Open is concerned. By the way, we got the tee times for the U.S. Open. I'll run some of those down for you in a little bit, but I can tell you that our buddy Maxwell Moldovan has got a 7:07 a.m. tee-off time coming up Thursday at Oakmont. We'll be following Max for sure all weekend long. All right, the news, the weather's coming up next. We're just getting cranked up here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Hang out with us here for a little while. What do you say? AM 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is pushing back on the need for National Guard troops and active duty military to control protests in her city. The Trump administration has said the troops are needed to restore order, but local officials say protests, for the most part, have been manageable with their own law enforcement resources. The bulk of the protests have taken place in a small area of downtown LA. Bass did have this to say about vandals who have been setting cars on fire.
I do not believe that individuals that commit vandalism and violence in our city really are in support of immigrants. They have another agenda. If you support immigrants and the rights of immigrants to be in our city, you would not be tearing the city apart.
Earlier protests were peaceful, and local law enforcement say they have had to make some arrests recently. Protesters have been demonstrating against the Trump administration's ICE arrests throughout the city, and federal officials say they have no plans of slowing down with those arrests. President Trump says he plans to carry out his plans to dismantle the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, after this year's hurricane season. In the Oval Office, Trump said money will be directly allocated to states through either him or the Department of Homeland Security. Today, the president told reporters that FEMA failed North Carolina in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
The FEMA thing has not been a very successful experiment, very, very expensive, and it doesn't get the job done. You saw what happened in North Carolina under the past administration. And when we got in, we did a great job for North Carolina, brought it back, but it was a disaster, FEMA.
The Trump administration denied extra funding for Helene cleanup. Governor Josh Stein says it's a decision that will cost his state hundreds of millions of dollars. Authorities in the Austrian city of Graz say a former student opened fire at a school today, fatally wounding 10 people and injuring many others before taking his own life. Special forces were among those sent to the high school after a call at 10 a.m. Police say the assailant was a 21-year-old Austrian man who used two weapons, which he appeared to have owned legally. There was no immediate information on his motive. At least 36 people are dead after a shooting near an aid distribution site in Gaza. Israeli forces say they were targeting what they call suspects, but officials at a nearby hospital and UN officials on the ground say it was a tragedy that did not need to happen. More from ABC's Marcus Moore.
The Hamas-run Palestinian Health Ministry says 163 people have been killed in shootings near these aid distribution centers since they began operating about 10 days ago. And there have been at least 6 deadly incidents near these distribution sites in that time.
It's 73 degrees and Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly sunny skies for your afternoon with a high around 73. For the overnight, partly cloudy, cooler, a low around 56. Sunny skies Wednesday with highs reaching 81. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
With Verizon, you can save big on all your favorite entertainment. Like Netflix and Max for $10 a month.
Careful now, that's going to... What are you telling?
Fully illuminated. Okay, watch out. Someone's about to save on Apple Music.
From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, welcome back to the program. We're with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Phones are open. Let's crank them up. 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. Text line also open for you at 330-924-7088. Our Sam Bourquin Show poll question today: has NIL in the transfer portal affected the way you follow and watch college sports? Yes, no, or undecided. So far on the X poll, no, 54%, yes at 48%. Nobody undecided. So it's either yes or no, whether all this transferring around and NIL payments, has it affected you or no? 54% say no, 46% say yes. Interesting.
Hey, Sam, our very own Christian Bigglesworth chimed in on that, saying NIL has changed college sports, but I'm sure glad the college football video game is back. Now bring back the college basketball video game.
We were talking about that in the lobby today. Yeah, and remember the whole Ed O'Bannon. He's the one that opened up this Pandora's box years ago when he sued the NCAA for, infringement on name and likeness. He thought that the players should be getting paid, should be getting a piece of the action. And it drug on in the courts forever and ever and ever and ever, amen. And then finally, it was like, okay, you win. And the players started getting paid. So it was called the NIL. It was name, image, likeness. Now, this is taken on a whole new level here. Initially, guys, girls were going to get paid when you say you bought a jersey with their name on it, or you bought a video game that they were in, so to speak, with their, name, image, and likeness. But now it's turned into, hey, Timmy, we'll give you $150,000 a year to come kick for us. And that's that. Or, hey, Mario, we'll give you $2 million, if you kind of want to leave, the University of blank and come over here and play with us. That's not what this was intended to do. But that's what it's turned into. And it is the wild, wild west. That's exactly what it's turned into. And I don't know how you put the ketchup back in the bottle. I don't. You probably won't. You probably never will. But that's kind of where we're at here now. And remember when the NIL thing passed, then what is it? EA Electronic Arts, EA Sports. They said, okay, we'll bring back NCAA college football, and maybe someday they'll bring back NCAA basketball. Maybe they'll bring back some other stuff. So now when you buy those games, you play those games, the athletes now are getting a piece of the pie. And that's what the whole thing was supposed to be about in the beginning. I remember, I can't tell you how many times years ago, if, we would go down to an Ohio State game and the highlight for me was, yes, it was always a football game or a basketball game, but it was going to the Buckeye store or going to Conrad's. I don't even know if Conrad's is still open. It probably is. And I would walk in those stores and go, oh my God, look, I am in Buckeye heaven. Look at all this stuff. Hats, shirts, polos, shoes, sweats, T-shirts, just anything you could name that had Ohio State on it, or anything that had an Ohio State player's name on it, or number, a football jersey, basketball jersey, baseball, soccer, you name it. I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I just wanted some cool Buckeye gear. And if one of my favorite Buckeyes had his jersey or whatever, yeah, I want that. Well, he wasn't getting a nickel off of that. That was going to the school or going to the people who manufactured the stuff. Or it was going anywhere but to the persons whose name and number and image and likeness was a part of it. It finally changed after that bill got passed. I couldn't tell you how many times I walked in and out of those Buckeye stores down on High Avenue or around the campus. And I always said, man, I wish I had a credit card and I wish I had about 50 grand on it because I would blow it right here, right now. I would scoop up everything I could get my hands on. That was just all part of the experience. But I don't know, even then, I would say, 25, 35, 40% of those stores were carrying jerseys with guys' names and numbers on them. They weren't getting any of that money. That was going to everywhere and everyone but them. But now I think this has gotten out of hand. And it didn't take long. You had a feeling it might explode. I never thought it was going to be like this. I never thought that the NIL situation would take a turn the way that it has. Like, there is, like, the fox is guarding the hen house right now. And I don't know how you control it. I don't know how, like, you need a team of experts in this field at every single university. And that is their only job, 365 days a year, to keep it where it's right. That's not happening right now. It just isn't. It's not possible. NIL and the transfer portal have gone mad. How do you corral it? How do you put the proverbial toothpaste back in the tube? How do you do that? I don't know. But at some of these, like Ohio State, for instance, what do they have? 30, 34, 35 varsity sports between men and women? Now, are they all on the level of football? Of course not. Of course not. But it's a sport, whatever it is. It's part of 35 sports under the Ohio State umbrella. How many guys are in the football program? Just to get in the program. I'm not saying who are dressing on the sidelines on a given Saturday. How many guys are in the football program? Hundreds of people in the program. How many people in the basketball programs, men and women? Baseball, softball, field hockey, lacrosse, hockey, wrestling. And I know I'm archery. I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch. Imagine trying to keep that in check at all levels today. Man, look how hard it was years ago before this NIL transfer portal business started. Now it's just taken on a completely different life of its own. I just don't know how you corral it. I'm not saying it needs to go back to the way that it did, because it won't. And I guess I'm of the belief that, yeah, the players should get paid a little bit. I don't know. I know cost has gone up incredibly the last several years for college. If you want to go there as an athlete, if you want to go as a student athlete, whatever. It's insane. We've started to look already for our son at how much it's going to cost for him to go to school, to said college, to said university, whatever. And I got to tell you, I got the I can't believe it. It is literally sticker shock. It's sticker shock. It's like you walk in the showroom or the parking lot at a car dealership, and you've got this number in your head about, okay, well, this car should be $27,500. And you walk up to it, and you look around, and you look, oh, there's the sticker. You walk around the other side of the car, $36,824. Thank you. Sticker shock. That's what it is for college now. I just don't know where this is all headed. But I'll tell you right now, schools like Ohio State, schools like Texas, Alabama, Southern Cal, Florida State, who's somebody in the East Coast maybe, Penn State. Those are the teams that are going to be, those are the schools that are going to be ahead of the curve. Those are the schools and teams that are going to be like, okay, we kind of figured this out a little bit. Now let's just stay on top of it and let's be great. Let's dominate. Let's do what we've always done. And we're going to try to keep this as close to where it needs to be as far as rules and regulations are concerned. But it's a whole new ball game now. And I got to admit, as a diehard sports fan, you guys, the girls have known me since I broke into the business back in 1990. God, I'm getting old. I'm a diehard sports fan. High school, college. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard pro fan, but pretty close. Pretty close. And this has affected me a little bit, just a little bit, of how it's just blown up and gotten out of control. I try to make it a point, a duty of mine, especially when I'm doing a daily talk show or broadcasting a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game, to have everything that I need. All the brushes, all the paints in the palette, everything I need to perform my job. And I got to tell you, trying to keep up with college, the big revenue generating sports of football and basketball is very, very hard. Even me as a Buckeye fan, it's hard to see, okay, who's still here? Who was here? Where did they go? And who's coming in? It changes every day. It changes every day. Imagine being somebody who covers, the entire NCAA. What is there, 124, 125 D1 college football programs? There's almost 350 D1 college basketball programs. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? How do you keep track of all that? I pride myself in trying to do that for you, for everybody. It's hard. And I got to tell you, it's taken a little bit of the luster off of the way that I kind of follow and essentially root for the teams that I like. Because I sit back and I go, my God, this is insane. I don't even know who I'm rooting for. Who's wearing number 10? Or wasn't that somebody else 2 weeks ago? Oh, he's at Oklahoma State now. Well, what happened to the other? Oh, he just quit. Oh, but he's going to jump into the portal if he doesn't feel better in a couple of weeks. Oh, he's gone already. Oh, I didn't know that. It is hard to keep up, man. It really is. What are your thoughts? 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. Poll question today. It's kind of all tying this in with NIL in the transfer portal. Has it affected the way that you view, the way you follow, the way that you watch college sports? Real simple. A, yes. B, no. C, not sure. Undecided. Again, from the Columbus Dispatch, Adam Jardy is going to join us at 410. We're going to talk about all this in the brand new Buckeye Sports Group that they've put together down in Columbus to oversee the madness that is going on right now. Pretty incredible stuff. We'll take a break. It's the Sam Bourquin Show right here. 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about the neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/preventviolentcrime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
To the program here on 1310 WDPN. Don't forget you can listen and watch live. Hello, everybody, on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. By the way, if you would like to win a pair of tickets to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies, those are coming up this Saturday at Umstead Performing Hall over at Kent McKinley High School. We got a pair of tickets for you. All you have to do is go to our live stream, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on X, WDPN Facebook page, wherever it is. Just go to the comment box and type in the word football. That's all you got to do. Type in the word football at our live stream, WDPN Facebook, WDPN on X, the Q92 Radio Facebook or YouTube channel, wherever. Doesn't matter. It'll all count. Go to one of those live streams, or if you're on there right now, just type in the word football, and you will be in the running for a pair of tickets to the National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies in Canton Saturday. We will pick a winner, at random after today's show. So make sure you type in the word football in the comments section to give yourselves a chance to win. This is the third year already for this. I'm anxious to catch up with Antonio Hall. He is on the National High School Football Hall of Fame committee, one of the committee members, and we're going to check in with Antonio at 4:35 this afternoon. Also, a little bonus free ticket Tuesday. We're going to give you a chance to win 2 tickets to go see the Doobie Brothers in concert at Blossom on Saturday, September the 17th. And I'll tell you what, we're going to give you a chance right around 4 o'clock. So make sure you are close to your phone if you want to go see the Doobie Brothers at Blossom on September the 17th. All right, little free ticket Tuesday here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right, I'm going to slide off of the NIL and transfer portal thing for just a couple of minutes. And we got to talk. We got to talk about the Guardians last night. And Tito Francona brought his Reds into town, smacked us around a little bit. 7-4 was the final score. Guardians are now 34-31. And don't look now. They are 8 games out of first place. 8. Detroit, 43-24. Won again last night. Are you getting a little worried like me that there's people already calling for those tickets? I love it. Are you worried that there's a little bit too much of separation now between the Guardians and the Tigers? Are we strictly looking at one of the 3 wild cards right now? I'm starting to feel that way. And look, I know, and I preach it on this show every day. Be patient. A lot of baseball to be played. You've only played 65 of 162. But I will also say, usually at about this time of the year, you know what you are. You know who you are. What Bill Parcells used to say, you are what your record says you are. And you can talk about reinforcements. You can talk about getting guys off the injured list. You can talk about maybe making a move at the trade deadline. Doubtful. Maybe the Guardians are a 34-31 team, and that's it. So if that's what they are, if they're going to be a team that's going to hover around the 500 mark, it might even be a challenge to get a wild card spot. Again, it's early. I know. What's the other saying that goes around? It's getting early late, or it's getting late early. I don't know, something like that. I mean, listen to this bunch of teams in the same zip code as the Cleveland Guardians. All right, Cleveland 34-31. Minnesota 35-30. Kansas City 34-32. These are the non-division leaders right now, by the way. Seattle 33-32. Tampa Bay 36-30. Toronto 36-30. Now, at some point, even some of the stragglers might make a little move. Maybe, I don't know. The Angels and the Rangers are, 31-34, 31-35. Boston's 32-36. I'm not going to slam the door on those guys yet. Now look at all the teams that are vying for those spots. If you ask me today, do you think the Guardians will put themselves in a position to win the division? I would say no. I would say no today, June 9th, whatever it is, June 10th, 2025, I'd say no. I'd say it's wild card or bust. They just had 3 errors last night. It's like we can't put it all together for like 7 to 10 days. We get pitching, we get no hitting. Our pitching stinks, we score 4 or 5 runs. We put the pitching and the hitting together, we give up 3 or 4 errors. Like we haven't been able to tie it all together. I'm a little worried. I really am. I see Josh Naylor hit a grand slam last night. That one hurts. That one hurts a little bit. That was a walk-off, too, for the Diamondbacks. We'll see. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to uplift, okay? I'm trying. They're just making it really, really hard right now. Good to see Tito last night, though. Good to see him in the ballpark last night. We'll hear from Tito and Stephen Vogt coming up here a little bit later on in the show. Right now, we got to get you to the top of the hour. News and weather on the other side. Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch will join us. We'll talk about the brand new entity, the Buckeye Sports Group, and what does it mean? We're going to give tickets away to the Doobie Brothers coming up here right now. Get on the phones and call 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Caller 1 gets a pair of tickets to go see the Doobie Brothers at the Blossom Music Center on Saturday, September the 17th. Good luck and get ready for the news and weather. It's coming up.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Army is celebrating its 250th anniversary. President Trump in North Carolina to deliver remarks at Fort Bragg. ABC's Mary Bruce has details.
This is part of his efforts this week to honor and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army. But it certainly is an interesting juxtaposition coming just as the president is also sending armed forces in to quell civilian protests on American soil.
The additional National Guard troops and Marines set to arrive in Los Angeles today due to protests over immigration raids. It comes as local law enforcement, LA's mayor, and California's governor say the presence of federal troops is not needed or helping with demonstrations. In London, high-level talks continued between the U.S. and China for a second day as the countries try to carve out a trade deal. The World Bank out with its forecast saying President Trump's tariffs could slow economic growth later this year in the U.S. and around the globe. This is ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your house sitter has the new code first before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code!
Contacting authority.
I'm out of here. Oh, seriously, the car too? Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. The case of former YWCA of Alliance Executive Director Stacey Bacorn has been referred to a theft intervention program. Bacorn pleaded guilty today in Stark County Common Pleas Court to one count of theft. She stepped down in September. Bacorn stole nearly $7,000 from the organization. She used its credit cards for personal expenses, did not submit cash donations, and lied about work-related travel. Bacorn will pay restitution. Judge Taryn Heath says failure to complete the intervention program will result in a conviction and sentence. If Bacorn completes it, the charge will be dropped and her record expunged. The public is being asked for help in tracking down the person or persons responsible for setting several fires in the Uniontown area. Police say a 16-passenger van was set ablaze at a warehouse on Apache Street Monday. A large trash bin at the same location at a bathroom at Uniontown Community Park were also set on fire Sunday. Two bathroom facilities at the Diamond baseball fields off of Crebaum Road were in flames the same day. The Summit County Sheriff's Office oversees that area. The fires occurred between 1 and 4 a.m. Anyone with information is asked to contact Uniontown Police at 330-699-6444. A weak tornado touched down in Stark County last week. That's according to the National Weather Service, which confirmed the June 5th twister in Sugar Creek Township. An EF0 tornado formed and touched down in a field east of Manchester Avenue and south of Lawndale Road Southwest shortly after 4 p.m. Maximum sustained winds were 80 miles per hour. The tornado was on the ground for just over a tenth of a mile. It struck a barn with a slate tile roof, dislodging between 50 and 100 tiles. The Weather Service says large branches were broken. Several displayed damage consistent with a tornado. The tornado briefly crossed an open field and moved east into a wooded area. It downed 2 trees before lifting into the sky. $1.5 million in grants to local nonprofits and other organizations has been announced by the Sisters of Charity Foundation of Canton. The funding is for the first and second quarters of this year. $250,000 to support operations at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health is part of money to develop and hone programs focused on systemic change. Funding to help build the capacity of local nonprofits includes $100,000 for YMCA of Central Stark County to support academic enrichment and social emotional learning at summer camps in the Alliance, Canton City, and Plain local school districts over 15 months. Funding for specific or short-term community needs includes $375,000 to Coleman Health Services for capital support of the Stark County Crisis Receiving Center. A July 2nd trial is set for a Columbiana County Jail corrections officer who allegedly assaulted inmates last year. 26-year-old David Ferguson Grants of Springfield Township is charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of assault. He appeared today in Common Pleas Court for a status conference hearing. The alleged incidents were captured by jail cameras. Ferguson Grants is accused of throwing a handcuffed inmate to the floor September 18th and hitting his head against a wall. He reportedly pushed another handcuffed inmate up a stairway and jumped on him September 24th. A Columbiana County judge has issued punishment to a man who pleaded guilty to child pornography charges in March. Common Pleas Judge Megan Bickerton sentenced 38-year-old Matthew Spack of Lisbon to 10 to 11 years in prison Friday. He also is designated a Tier 2 sex offender and must register every 180 days for 25 years. He pleaded guilty to charges of pandering obscenity involving a minor and the illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material or performance. The activity occurred in November 2024. Police executing a search warrant at Spack's home found nude images of minor females on his phone. The home of Youngstown City Councilwoman Amber White is the focus of a new investigation ordered by Mayor Tito Brown. He is hiring an independent investigator. White was elected in November 2023. The probe was prompted by her owning a home in Liberty Township since the previous year. An investigation of her home was previously done. According to WFMJ-TV, a spokesman for the city of Youngstown says the mayor does not believe the first investigation was biased, but the second probe will look into what's come to light within the last 18 months. They say this investigation is happening after several requests and recent information on White's address. A man is wanted by the U.S. Marshals for conspiracy to distribute cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin. 39-year-old Stashion Williams is described as a black male, 6 feet tall, and 215 pounds. The Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force says he is known to frequent the Cleveland, Youngstown, and Warren areas. Tips can remain anonymous. Anyone with information is asked to contact the task force at 1-866-4-WANTED or by submitting an online tip. A reward is available for information leading to an arrest. Trumbull County Auditor Martha Yoder plans to personally fund her appeal against Bezetta Township in connection with a cybercrime case. She wants to use her own money to challenge a lower court ruling that the township is due over $80,000 from the county for funds lost in an email scam. Yoder filed the appeal in the 11th District Court in April. WKBN-TV reports county commissioners will consider her proposal at their next meeting. Hackers infiltrated the township fiscal officer's email in April 2024 and posed as officials to redirect where tax revenue should be sent. The auditor's office did not verify the request and sent money to a fraudulent account at Green Dot Bank. Yoder believes the township was negligent by not using a 2-step verification of the email account. It's 72 degrees in Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
For your Tuesday afternoon, mostly sunny skies, a high around 73. Partly cloudy overnight with lows dipping to 56. Wednesday, sunshine and a high near 81. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Clock to right center. Rodriguez watches, and that's going to go. Tie game, Jake Fraley. That is smacked to center field, base hit. Encarnacion Strand jogs home. Benson's on again, and the Reds are doubling up the Guardians 6-3.
Fly ball, left center field. That'll do it. Petro Armstrong going back. It's off the base of the wall. A little exclamation point from Brandon Marsh. Oh, everybody touches their bag, and the Phillies win it in the bottom of the 11th inning by a final score of 4-3.
And this one to center field. Denzel Clark on the move back after he stepped.
Oh my God!
He makes another catch!
Oh my God! I've heard the list. I've seen the list of the greatest catches you're ever going to see in your life. If you don't have room for this one on your list, we're watching two different sports.
2 outs, the 2-2. Ground ball to first. Ball game. Murray State has done it. Upset in Durham. The Racers race on to Omaha.
Marchand at 37. And now the Panthers with a 2-0. Moving in on Skinner. Score! Bennett! 4-1 Florida.
What a night in sports last night. Got you covered with everything there. College baseball, pro baseball, NHL hockey. I'm telling you what, there was a lot of great stuff last night. Welcome in. Hour 2 of the Sam Bourquin Show. Deep breath. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome into the program. We're going to be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Phone lines are open at 330-821-1310. Text line 330-924-7088. We're going to be talking with Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch coming up here in just a few minutes about the brand new Buckeye Sports Group. All right, that's going to be serving the athletes, the athletic department down at Ohio State. We got that coming up here in just a few minutes. Guardians and Reds, game 2 of that 3-game series tonight. Cleveland now 34-31, 8 big, fat games behind Detroit in the division. Baseball tomorrow at 1:10, and boy, you better win one of these next 2, or you're getting further and further away. Browns minicamp underway up in Berea. NHL Stanley Cup Finals last night. Blowout in a huge fight. A huge fight at the end of the game. We're going to play some of that audio for you a little bit later, but the Panthers destroyed Edmonton, and they now lead that Stanley Cup best of 7 now, 2-1. Later, we'll have On This Day in Sports History. We've got our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. Question today is, with all of the NIL and transfer portal going on, has it affected the way that you follow and watch college sports? Yes, no, undecided. Hit us up on all of our social media platforms and let us know. Great responses today. Actually, I'm getting a lot of either yes or no, and people are actually giving the reason why. I'll read some of those responses coming up here in just a few minutes. Also, before we get to Adam, if you would like to go to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies here in Canton this Saturday, if you'd like 2 tickets, get yourself in the running. All you have to do is go to our live video stream. Check us out on X, on Facebook, on the YouTube channel at either AM 1310 WDPN or Q92 Radio. And the comments section, just type in the word football. Type in the word football. You're automatically in for those tickets. We'll draw a winner at random after today's show. That's a great event. That's the 3rd annual, by the way, and they do a great job with the National High School Football Hall of Fame right here in Northeast Ohio. All right, let's bring on Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. We want to talk about this Buckeye Sports Group and peel back a couple of layers so we can all kind of understand what's going on. Adam, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'll try to help as best I can, but I think we all have some questions about how this is going to work.
I'm telling you, I am embarrassed to admit how many times I've gone back. You guys got a lot of clicks from me, I'm telling you, because I went back and reread this thing several times because I didn't print it out. I kept looking it up on my phone and computer, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, call Adam Jardy. I can't take it anymore. This is amazing. And I was just like the first hour of our show today, Adam, pretty much we've been talking about NIL transfer portal, how people – they've been affected by it, whether you're a hardcore fan, a Johnny-come-lately fan, what school you're looking at, just how it just affects how you consume everything. And this big, brand-new Buckeye Sports Group down with Ohio State now, I thought, okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. So this has come to pass, and I guess in layman's terms, as best as you can, Adam, describe what the Buckeye Sports Group is and what it will do.
So right now, we're all starting to become accustomed to the fact that there are these collectives that exist at every university, and they help facilitate the NIL deals. They help pay the players for their name, image, and likeness rights. And the existing ones that deal with Ohio State right now, primarily the foundation, that's been the biggest one out there. Those are now part of this Buckeye Sports Group.
Okay.
And the way that it will operate is that will be the group that's charged with facilitating NIL deals, with helping Ohio State student athletes, monetize their name, image, and likeness rights. And the collective system as we know it right now will essentially cease to exist. So if you've been giving money to the foundation to support their efforts to pay players for their NIL rights, now that will go to this new group. That's the most meat and potatoes, bare bones way I can describe it.
So, and I was looking, okay, so it's basically going to replace, you talked about the foundation, I guess for the avid Buckeye, for the 1870 Society, that was another collective. So this is all, I don't, would merger, would that make sense? Would that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, you could say it's a merger. You could say like they're all being folded into this new group. I guess however you'd want to term it, but that's a fair way to describe it.
So to kind of peel back another layer here, this will do with every varsity sport under the university's umbrella. So if it's football, if it's hockey, if it's gymnastics, all this goes into one to help have that revenue at hand and say, okay, now we're going to decide how we distribute it, where it goes, how much, and things like that.
Yeah, and this is also sort of on top of the revenue sharing that Ohio State will already be doing, because as has been discussed a lot, here, especially recently, but there's universities can allocate up to $20.5 million this upcoming year to share with their student athletes. And this will be, sort of on top of that. So if you're a men's basketball player and you're going to get whatever percentage of that pot of that $20.5 million, but then you also are going to make whatever you're going to make through, outside NIL deals, that's where this group would come in. So it'd be sort of on top of all that.
Interesting. Adam Jardy joining us from the Columbus Dispatch here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, WDPN.com. So some people actually texted me earlier today about, they just had questions about this. They said, well, what about the money and revenue that comes in from, say like the television networks or radio or the Big Ten network, does that go into a separate, like just for the school's fund? Do they spend or do with that whichever they like, or does that bleed over into something like this new Buckeye Sports Group? What would that be?
Yeah, so that's all the money that the athletic department will distribute to the players. So that would be essentially separate from whatever, you know, this other group, the Buckeye Sports Group, whatever deals that they have and things like that would be separate from the revenue sharing that the student athletes will get as part of the television contracts and shoe contracts and all that stuff. Like all that money, all the, you know, billions of dollars that the Big Ten is making off of its TV package, you know, that all gets distributed to the universities, and then that gets distributed via the revenue sharing, which again is for this upcoming year is capped at $20.5 million that they can share with all the student athletes at the universities. And that number will grow as the years, you know, progress here, but that's the number they're working with for this upcoming year.
So AD Ross Bjork, he had a couple of comments in your story that he was quoted. And when did this kind of get put into motion, Adam? Because Ross seems to me like he's ahead of the curve with a lot of stuff as far as the finances and general revenue sharing and distribution. He's on top of this thing. When did this start to come into motion?
Well, really, I would say within like the last year. I mean, the big domino that we've all been waiting for is there have been a couple of lawsuits against the NCAA that have all been resolved with this House case that was just officially, the settlement was officially approved at like 8 or 9 o'clock on Friday night. And we've all sort of been working under the pretense that this is where it was headed and that this would be approved in time for July 1st. That's always been the date that's been put out there. And so they've been preparing for this eventuality for a while, and it's been headed this direction for probably the last year, but it just finally got approved on late Friday night.
How many varsity sports are there now? Is it 35, 36?
Ohio State still has 36.
They still have 36. Okay. So this $20 million that's earmarked, and you said that it's probably going to go up, just like salary cups go up in the pro leagues year after year after year after year. What increment wise, what do you think that would look like, say 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 moving forward?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm very interested to see how this first year, how this all shifts and or how this all kind of settles. And then we can sort of evaluate where it needs to go moving forward. Because I think if you're talking about $20 million for all 36 varsity sports at Ohio State, I don't know that all 36 teams, in fact, I'd be surprised if more than just a handful of them get a share of this $20 million, pot, essentially. I mean, what you will see, like part of that $20.5 million will go toward, there'll be more scholarships. They're essentially doing away with walk-ons moving forward. And so, other sports that might only have a handful of scholarships will now have more scholarships to hand out. So you're seeing like sort of a benefit in that regard, but they're not necessarily getting paid through the revenue sharing. They're not necessarily coming home with checks in their pocket like, the football team will and the men's basketball team will. Those are the only two sports that turn a profit on campus. And so, how does this eventually settle in the next year or 2 years where you're only paying, I believe Ohio State's only going to pay 4 student athletes on 4 sports. So, how does that, sit with people and does that change moving forward? I don't know. There's a lot that we still have to figure out, I think in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, before we start to have a real idea.
Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Just a question for my own self and maybe some others out there as well. Of the 36 varsity sports between men and women, does the university, are there any of those sports that do not charge some sort of admission for fans to come and watch? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which ones, but I do know, and they advertise that kind of stuff, throughout the season, hey, go to, these sports are free. Like, go to this game, go to this game. Like, yes, there are certainly some that do not charge admission.
I was wondering because with all those sports, I'm thinking, but again, we've always grown up with what the traditional revenue sports. So we always think, okay, football, basketball kind of, run the show and bring in most of the money. But even some of the smaller schools around our neck of the woods, Adam, like a Walsh, a Malone, a Kent, Akron, a Mount Union, which is just down the road here, they're starting to charge admission now to some of the sports that maybe you didn't charge admission for 5, 10, 15 years ago. And I wondered how that was going at Ohio State and if there'll be any changes down the road one way or the other.
That's certainly a possibility. I mean, I do. One thing that I think we do know about Ross Bjork is he enters, year 2 at Ohio State. I mean, he's looking at everything because certainly, we're talking about $20 million right now. Who knows where that number grows to? But like, that's $20 million that the university, used to spend on other things, and that the athletic department used to spend on other stuff. So that's, no matter how you operate a budget, when you're suddenly cutting $20 million out of it, like that's going to certainly have an impact. And you got to look for ways to try to make up for that however you can. And so, yeah, monetizing revenue streams that you didn't used to monetize. Every athletic department, that's going to look different for everybody. But I mean, we've even seen in the last week, Ohio State announcing they're going to, put suites in at field level at the south end of the stadium.
I saw that.
Like, I mean, those are the kinds of things. Like, if you can take whatever you have and find a new way to generate more revenue from that, I think every athletic department in the country that wants to remain competitive has to look at those kinds of things. And certainly Ross Bjork is a fresh set of eyes doing that at Ohio State right now.
No doubt. And I think, when Ross came in from Texas A&M, and we got a view from afar of how they did things down at College Station, whether it was, the Johnny Manziel effect or they were at the front. And of course, Texas is, how Texas is. It's big. It's here we are. We've got oil. We've got donors. We got this. We got that. And man, they tapped into it. I think he's kind of brought that up here to Ohio, and it's really been a big piece of the puzzle with Ohio State. You mentioned those field level suites, loges, whatever. Are those going to be ready in time for this season or next year, Adam?
It looks. I think it's next year is what they're targeting. I think that's a pretty big undertaking. I don't quote me on that. Since I don't do any football. I don't have the specifics on that, but that's going to be a major shift. And it looks. I mean, the drawings they look kind of weird. I think it's probably going to be an adjustment for all of us.
I saw and I'm like, what, Sam? Okay, well, hey, they know what they're doing down there, so I'll just let them go. But yeah, they looked a little bizarre. So as we move forward now with this Buckeye Sports Group, how do you look at like boosters and donors in the corporate community? What kind of effect will it have on them? And do you see increases coming from these different entities? Will they kind of level off? And if they do, how does somebody like Ross Bjork say, hey, now this is where it's going to go. This is where we want to take it. And this is who we're going to be. You can be proud of us. You're going to be happy with us. Reach a little bit deeper. How is that all going to come into play?
Well, this is where it really gets interesting because all of these NIL deals moving forward now, the NCAA will have essentially a clearinghouse where if you sign an NIL deal for more than $600, it has to be approved. And if it's not approved, then it gets sent on to like an enforcement committee that will determine how valid this is. And the point of it is to, in essence, they want to see like, okay, if this player is getting paid this much money, well, is that what they're actually, is that real or is that like a recruiting inducement? And if it is, then they're going to, if they decide that it is, then they're going to void the deal.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're that booster who, paid however much money so that the program could offer $2 million to this player, does that same deal get approved moving forward? Like I've seen a statistic that says something like 70% of the NIL deals that have been approved through collectives or that have taken place through collectives nationwide in the last several years would not be approved under this new model. So, yeah, if you're a booster who wants to make sure that your favorite program gets the star player that they need, how do you best do that? And what happens the first time that, you know, a booster wants to give $1 million to a player and this, committee says, oh no, that's not a fair market value and voids the deal. Ooh. Well, who is this committee to say what fair market value is? I mean, right. I think it's if you're worth what someone's willing to pay you. So I don't know how that ultimately holds up legally. I do think there are more lawsuits coming because the first time someone is set to make $1 million and the committee says, oh no, you're actually only worth 200,000. You can't take that deal. Well, they're going to find themselves in court pretty quickly.
No doubt.
And I mean, there's players right now, like if you're going into your sophomore year in college right now and say you're making $4 million this year in NIL money. Well, next year, if they try to tell you, oh no, you're actually only worth like 1.5, that doesn't hold up.
Oh no.
So I do think they've just kind of kicked the can down the road for a whole new set of problems. I think that all these rules and the way it's set up right now is an effort to try to get their arms around this world of paying players, but I don't think that they have solved the problem because these kinds of you're not going to convince someone that was worth $4 million this year that they're only worth $2 million next year. Like that's just not going to happen.
No, they'll go the other way. It should be I should be worth $8 million now, not $2 million.
Right.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be fascinating. Adam, I appreciate you coming on, trying to clear the muddy waters for us a little bit. This is complex. It is intense. You guys are doing a great job hammering it out at the Columbus Dispatch, and I always appreciate your time for taking it and walking us through here on this Tuesday afternoon. Adam, I appreciate it as always. Thanks again.
Yeah, it's very kind of you. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. Adam Jardy does a hell of a job with the Columbus Dispatch. Give him a follow on Twitter, on X. Adam Jardy, Jardy, does a tremendous job. I hope that a little confusing, but I think we tried to clear that up a little bit about what the Buckeye Sports Group is, how they're going to be run, how things are going to change, how people are going to get paid, how some of the athletes are going to be enticed. And then, of course, everybody's watching from above. And as, again, Adam mentioned, he might be kicking the can down the road on some of this stuff. Because every door that gets closed with okay, we're good, another door, another bucket of problems is going to open up. But that's the world we live in. All right. Thank you, Adam, for coming on. We appreciate it. All right. We're a little bit late. 4:31 news and weather coming up here at 1310 WDPN.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transfer.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump is speaking at Fort Bragg to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. The president's trip to the North Carolina base comes as he faces criticism over deploying the National Guard and now U.S. Marines in an attempt to quell immigration protests in Los Angeles. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll are at today's event, along with service members, veterans, and their families. Trump has promoted the Army's anniversary as a reason to hold a military parade in Washington, D.C. Saturday, which is also his 79th birthday. Additional police are in place in Los Angeles after 4 nights of violence. ABC's Alex Stone is in L.A.
LA's mayor says contrary to the national narrative that all of LA is being impacted by violence, it's actually a fairly small area of just downtown LA. She and the police chief are considering putting in place a curfew. Mayor Karen Bass saying,
the violence and the damage is unacceptable. It is not going to be tolerated.
It comes as President Trump has deployed more National Guard and active duty Marines are now arriving. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom has asked a federal court to block the Trump administration from using the National Guard and Marines to assist with immigration raids in Los Angeles, saying the practice would only heighten tensions. U.S. stocks drifted just below their all-time highs. The wait continues to hear what will come of trade talks underway between the United States and China. The S&P 500 rose 0.5% today as talks between the world's two largest economies carried into a second day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 0.2%. 0.4%, and the NASDAQ composite rose 0.6%. The hope is that President Trump will lower his tariffs on China and other countries after reaching trade deals with them, and stocks have already rallied strongly on such expectations. Treasury yields eased a bit in the bond market. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has fired everyone on a vaccine advisory panel that has spent decades making recommendations about immunizations for the flu, COVID-19, and other infectious diseases. The announcement from Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired all 17 members of the panel and will appoint new members. It's a move that has outraged the medical community, who say the independent committee advises on vaccine safety and effectiveness. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Richard Besser says the move is devastating.
For the secretary to talk about these members who are doing their duty for our nation in service is really a horrible thing.
It's 72 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Tuesday afternoon, mostly sunny skies and a high near 73. Partly cloudy and cooler overnight with a low dipping to 56. Wednesday, sunshine and a high reaching 81. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills, land your next job, or refine your resume, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We will provide everything you need to succeed, from resume assistance to job search guidance and everything in between. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Hey, welcome back. 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the great world at AM1310WDPN.com. Hello, and thanks for watching and listening on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. By the way, if you want to get yourself in the running to win a pair of tickets to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies here in Canton this Saturday, all you have to do is go to our live stream, whether it is the YouTube channel, whether it's X, whether it's Facebook, it all covers. Go into the comments section and type in the word football, okay? Go to our Q92 Radio Facebook page, YouTube channel, WDPN Twitter page, X page, Facebook page. Just go to the comments section and type in the word football. You will be in the running as we will draw a winner at random after the show today. We'll hook you up with a pair of tickets to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame ceremonies in Canton over at the Umstead Hall on Saturday, all right, June the 14th. So make sure you type that in and get yourself in the running to be a winner here on the Sam Bourquin Show, exclusively on AM 1310 WDPN. And congratulations and good luck. Hope you get those tickets after the show today. All right, speaking of the National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies and all the cool activities that are going on this weekend, I thought a really good guy to bring on would be Antonio Hall. You know him as an outstanding high school football coach over the years. He is a big-time committee member of this outstanding organization, and I thought we'd bring Big Antonio on to talk about it here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Anthony, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on this afternoon. I appreciate it. And boy, a busy weekend. And I guess we'll start with that. It's not just the ceremonies on June 14th. You guys have a lot planned for this big weekend. If you could tell the listening audience all about it, and we'll shoot it up and go from there.
Sounds good. Well, first of all, Sam, I appreciate being on the radio with a legend. So,
you're the legend.
But no, man, it's just great to hear your voice and catch up with you.
You bet, man. Anytime. Looking forward to it.
The Hall of Fame, I mean, it grows every year. It continues to grow legs, grow support, grow momentum. We have our reception ceremony at the DoubleTree downtown, who's one of our sponsors and been great host of this whole thing for the past few years. That's going to go on from about 7 to 10 on Friday night. Then Saturday afternoon, we're going to do the unveiling of the second year plaque, last year's class, at the Frank Turk Alberta locker rooms where the other plaque is located.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll have our ceremony, obviously, at Umstead Hall. It's one of the best ceremonies you'll see. I mean, our committee, our leaders do a great job putting together a great show. Even with 30 guys, it goes by quick, and you just get so much content and so much history and just fulfillment of high school football. I mean, the greatest institution there is in the United States. Then after that, we have the after party at Culture Lounge. Then the next day, we're going to have a brunch at Jersey's downtown at Centennial Plaza from 11 to 1. We're also going to have an autograph session, too, at Belden Village. I forgot.
That's right. I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yep. That's going to be at Belden Village from 12 to 1. So, I mean, we got five or six events happening in about a 48-hour time. So it's jam-packed. The fans who just love football, love high school football, college football, pro football, no matter what type of football you love, you'll be able to appreciate this because of who we have coming in, who's around it. And the guys really just love interacting with the fans.
For the people looking for information, nhsfootballhof.com. That's nhsfootballhof.com. You'll get a ton of information there about the weekend, the pricing, the events, the locations. That's nhsfootballhof.com. Antonio Hall, our special guest here on 1310 WDPN and the Sam Bourquin Show. You mentioned the committee and what a great job they do putting this on. You mentioned, I mean, wow, how many events in just a couple of days. If you could shout out some of the committee members and what you guys are all doing to put on this fantastic show.
Yeah, R.J. Van Allman, a really good friend of mine. We're on a couple other committees and projects together. I mean, RJ's, I think, is on every committee or board there is in Stark County.
He is.
But,
gotta love him.
But I mean, he got his hands in everything, and he just contributes so much to every organization. He truly is a gem in our community.
Absolutely.
So RJ is our treasurer and handles our finances, and then also he does a lot of our operations and logistics. Dave Jingo, another good friend of mine, worked together on many projects. He's a historian. He's great at marketing. Does just a phenomenal job of promoting our brand. He also does a lot with our operations. He's actually our operations guy. So, I mean, putting the pieces together, fundraising, helping with getting the building projections done so we can do that build out. He's doing everything. Russ Johnson, who's second in command for the Hall of Fame. He does all our digital stuff, all of our online stuff, anything in the space of media, anything in the space of social media, computers. He's a whiz. He puts all of our stuff together for our marketing decks and our packs. And then Lamont Robinson, the big dog, the guy who really brought this into fruition. I mean, he had a dream of making this happen in 2010, and then over the years, he put the pieces together, and here we are going into our third year, and it gets bigger and better every year. So Lamont is our spearhead, our forefront, opening a lot of doors for us, getting our connections with the guys who want to come and be a part of this thing. So, I mean, yeah, we really are putting together a really strong team.
Again, for more information, nhsfootballhof.com. Get on that website and check it out. I got to tell you, Antonio, I got one of the graphics pulled up here from the site, and it's incredible. I mean, I pay closer attention to those things than maybe some, and just the way that it just pops. All the information's there. You got pictures of the guys that are going to be going in, ticket prices, locations, you got the website. Everything you need is right there. And kudos for everybody that's got their hands in there and doing a great job. Speaking of the class this year, you mentioned it's a pretty big class, but the way that you guys have it set up, it goes rather quickly. It goes very smooth. Who are some of the inductees as a part of this year's class that people can maybe get up close and chat with?
Yeah, I mean, we have guys who have a lot of local ties. You know, we got Antoine Winfield, a senior, from up at Akron Garfield. You got Tom Cousineau, St. Ed's. You got Charlie Batch. You know, he's from Western Pennsylvania. So he's right around the corner. And me being a Steelers guy, you know, that's one of my guys. We got Tim Couch, you know, one of my UK guys is going in. We got two, Frank Menderfield, one of the original founders of Dog Pound, also a UK guy, you know, he's going in. Earl Campbell, you know, he's going to be here. He's going in. Michael Vick, Ray Lewis. I mean, it really is a great class. Steve Atwater. I mean,
one of the hardest hitters I ever saw. I mean, he'd take your head off. He was a beast, man. He would take your head off if you came across the middle. I mean, he wore number 27 with the Broncos, and man, I would just get scared for the people that had the ball when he was coming around.
Listen, not many people went across the middle.
No, they said, "I'm not coming there. I'm not coming in that neighborhood." He was unbelievable.
It was funny because, like, when Doss was in high school, we used to say that he was Steve Atwater because he was 27, and if you came across that middle, good night. So, yeah.
That's right. You're right. Antonio Hall is our guest. Antonio also a member of this year's class, I believe, and he's more well known for putting the ball in the hoop at a very high level, and that's Allen Iverson. I want to tell people
how great of a high school quarterback he was.
People listening right now, go to YouTube, just type in Allen Iverson high school football. You will absolutely be blown away with some of the footage you see of Allen Iverson on a high school football field. Antonio, he was unbelievable.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And that's a good thing about this Hall of Fame is that, you know, it's not based on, you know, how many Super Bowls you have. It's not based on how many Pro Bowls you have. It's not based on how many NCAA records you set. It's not based on how many national championships you've got. It's about, you know, what did you contribute to the game, to your community, to your team. Like that's the essence of high school football. It's the essence of community, and the fact that we get to represent these guys not for the stardom that they accumulated or earned, well earned, but we get to focus on the community that helped build them, and that's the beautiful thing about high school football.
No doubt about it. You mentioned the build out downtown. There is actually going to be, for people that don't know or maybe want some more info on it, there's going to be a place, an actual building downtown. I think it used to be the old Rankard building, right? Downtown on Market Avenue. And you guys are building that out, and that's going to be the home of the National High School Football Hall of Fame. Any more information you can tell us about that? Maybe when they think it might be done, and maybe some of the cool parts of that building, and people can, you know, sometime soon when it's all done, they can come down and check it out.
Yeah, definitely. We, you know, right now we're working on getting our graphics and stuff done in the windows, just to try to create some awareness, community awareness. Like, hey, this is here and it's coming. We anticipate that within 2 years we should have the full build out.
Okay.
We're still seeing, you know, how soon we can actually get in with the first phase of the build out, and so. The city's been great supporting us, been tremendous. So now we're trying to gain some support from the county, and you know, we got some people in the state pushing for us too. You know, Coach Trussell, he's getting a special award from us this year. He's getting the Paul Brown Visionary Award, and he was at the first ceremony as a guest. You know, obviously Mike Doss played for him, and there were several Ohio State Buckeyes that went in. So Coach Tressel was in the building supporting us, and we appreciate that. So, I mean, we definitely have some backing. We're just trying to continue to grow more. But hopefully within 2 years, we're ready to rock full capacity.
That's awesome to hear. Antonio, where do you see this National High School Football Hall of Fame going the next 3, 5, 10, 15 years? What's the long-term vision of this?
Well, I think people need to understand that this is more than a monument. This is a flagship. This right here is not only to preserve and to illuminate the 150 years of high school football. We were not just the 150th year of high school football in the United States. So it's not just a monument. It's also a propeller. I mean, we're in talks with companies who are doing things to make the game safer, and they want to partner with us. We're in talks with Chuck Kyle, who represents the new form. It's called rookie tackle, and it's probably the best way and the safest way to teach the game of football from kids 6 through 12. We have some virtual reality partners who are working on things where you can like simulate real life drills on the field, but not have to worry about a 350-pound defensive tackle smoking you if you're a quarterback. I mean, there's things that you can get trained. So it's like we're trying to push the game forward in all phases. And we have Bernie Kosar is one of our partners, and people understand how well Bernie Kosar is doing with his health and some of those things that he's done with Dr. Oz and Dr. Roy's, and some of the things that brought him back to being a full cognitive and functional human being. He's going to now expose some of those things to children and some of the things that you can do to prevent some of those things. So we're kind of trying to carry the torch for high school football to make sure it's the safest and the most participated in institution in the United States.
You know, and Antonio, that's one of the beautiful things about sports. One of the beautiful things about football. It's, you know, we see the highlights, we see the bands, we watch this and that, but it's the relationships and the people that want to be there to help the people that are coming after them to not only make it a great sport, make it a safe sport, make people still want to be heavily involved, to take part, to have fun, to love it, to learn from it. That's what it's all about, right?
Amen. Amen. That's what it's all about.
$25 a ticket, best $25 you'll spend coming up this Saturday at the Zimmerman Symphony Center and Umstadt Performing Arts Hall. It is the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame ceremonies, and it's going to be happening this Saturday here in Canton. Our special guest is Antonio Hall here on 1310 WDPN. All right, big fella, before I let you go, I got to ask you, 2025, Big Blue, Lexington. How are the Wildcats looking? And I understand there's a young fella. He might be wearing number 70. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. We should be pretty good this year. You know, in the world of free agency and college football, we were able to get some good acquisitions. And you know, their support staff, their weight training program, their personal development, player development is second to none in the country. I mean, you can talk about Alabama, Ohio State, whatever. But we talk about developing players. I mean, there's not a better staff than what's in Lexington, and it shows. I mean, look how many guys got drafted within the past 3 or 4 years in the top three rounds. I mean, it's never been done before. And so I anticipate we'll probably go about 8-4, 9-3 this year. It's going to be a big year for us.
All right. I like it. You know, some people, Antonio, Kentucky's always been the big basketball school, and football was kind of, I'm telling you what, I think Kentucky is still one of the best kept secrets in college football for, number one, where you guys play your games, the atmosphere. Every game now is packed, and if it's not, it's darn well packed. You got your rival with Louisville. You talked about the talent you're able to bring in now, coaches, coaching staff, people looking over the program. To me, and I'm not just saying this because you're my guy and I got you on, I think Kentucky's a sleeping giant in college football. I really believe that.
Hands down. I mean, for the fact that you got such good recruiting hubs right in your backyard. There's Louisville, there's Cincinnati, then you still have all of Ohio. You can still pull from Chicago. You can pull from Tennessee and Georgia. So, I mean, like recruiting wise, they're such in a hot pocket where they can pretty much draw from within a 5-hour drive from a lot of different major football hubs in the country.
It's growing. It's growing into something. Antonio, I really appreciate you coming on today. I know you've got
Thanks for having me.
You bet, man. You and your group got a busy couple of days coming up. I know you're going to knock it out of the park, and we'll catch up with you soon here as we get closer to high school football season. That's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll chat soon. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Brother. There he goes. Antonio Hall joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right. June 14th, Saturday, at the Umstead Performing Arts Hall over at Camp McKinley. It's the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Ceremonies. And if you want to win tickets, all you have to do right now is go to our live stream, okay? Go to the live stream, Facebook, X, YouTube channel, doesn't matter which one. Go to the comment and just type in the word football. Just type in the word football. That's all you have to do. That automatically gets you entered in to win. We'll draw a winner at random after the show here on 1310 WDPN. So good luck with that. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more. Stay with us.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Well, I got to thank my guy, Antonio Hall, for joining us here today on the show. That's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. A lot of great activities between dinners and brunches and award ceremonies. Congratulations to the class. It's a big class, but certainly well-deserved, the National High School Football Hall of Fame. We're going to give you a chance to win a couple of tickets here in about 3 minutes. And all you'll have to do is call, and we'll hook you up. All right? Don't call now. But we'll let you know here in a couple of minutes. I will give you the phone number, though, just in case you don't have it. 330-821-1310. We're going to give a couple tickets away to the National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies coming up here, in about 2 minutes. All right, so sit tight, and we'll give you your chance to win. But thanks to Antonio for coming on. That's a cool thing. A lot of people forget this is the third year of this event. And now that they're going to have an actual structure on Market Avenue and downtown Canton, where the old Rankert building was, I was by there the other day, and the scaffolding is out, and they're moving things around, and they're doing things. I'm anxious to see, a couple of more years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how cool that's going to be. That'll be a destination, especially if people come in town a little bit early for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Festival. You know what I mean? How people come in a week or two early and they get their hotels and they go to all the different events that are going on. And they say, hey, well, go on downtown and check out the National High School Football Hall of Fame. Huh? Okay. Where's it at? Let me go check it out. And I think that's how word's going to spread. I think that's how that's going to go. And I think that will become bigger and better as it moves forward. That's a really neat undertaking. And I wish the crew and everybody involved all the best with that, because I think that's going to be that's going to be another star on the tree. You know what I mean? The more things you can do like that, get people involved, make it a destination for them, and they enjoy it. They tell people about it. And pretty soon you got something really, really cool. And I think that's how that's going to go. All right, we got the news, we got the weather coming up here at the top of the hour. But right now, before we go to break, if you would like 2 tickets to go to the National High School Hall of Fame ceremonies, high school football at Umstead Hall in Canton, caller number 1, 330-821-1310. That's caller number 1 at 330-821-1310. You will win a pair of tickets, courtesy of the Sam Bourquin Show at AM 1310 WDPN. Call right now, 330-821-1310. You win a pair of tickets to the National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies. Good luck, everybody. News and weather next here on 1310 WDPN.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A major shift at the CDC could impact the types of vaccines Americans receive. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. terminated all 17 members of the independent advisory panel that makes recommendations on vaccines. ABC's Steve Osunsami says Kennedy says he'll replace them with his picks. That's created a walkout at CDC headquarters in Atlanta.
We talked to a group of some of these employees. Some of them were retirees who decided to leave the agency because they saw what was happening. And they're concerned about what this means to the American public, and also tell us they're concerned about who replaces these individuals.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom has filed an emergency order asking a federal judge to intervene and stop federal troops from deploying. President Trump mobilized those federal troops to help with unrest over immigration raids in the city. The president in North Carolina this hour, he'll deliver remarks at Fort Bragg Army Base celebrating the Army's 250th anniversary. This is ABC News.
Father's Day is Sunday, and if you haven't found a gift yet, don't panic. Just come to Macy's Father's Day sale for gifts that'll make Dad say, this is perfect. Shop designer polos from Lacoste and Tommy Hilfiger, 30 to 50% off. Watches from Citizen and Bulova, 30% off. Fragrance gift sets, boxed and ready to give. Even a 36-piece Cuisinart grill set, now half off. Hurry in. Father's Day is this Sunday, and this sale starts tomorrow at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. A teen has died of injuries suffered when she was shot in Canton last week. The 16-year-old was shot in the head at a home on 7th Street Northeast June 3rd. The Stark County Coroner's Office says she died 3 days later at Mercy Hospital, but remained on life support until her organs could be removed for donation. An autopsy will be performed by the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. Canton police continue to investigate the shooting. The former executive director of the YWCA of Alliance has pleaded guilty to stealing funds from the organization. Stacy Bacorn entered the plea to 1 count of theft today in Stark County Common Pleas Court. If she completes a theft intervention program, the charge will be dropped and her record expunged. Judge Taryn Heath says failure to complete the program will result in a conviction and sentence. Bacorn stole nearly $7,000 from the YWCA. She used its credit cards for personal expenses, did not submit cash donations, and lied about work-related travel. Bacorn will pay restitution. She stepped down in September. The National Weather Service has confirmed that a tornado touched down in Sugar Creek Township June 5th. Shortly after 4 p.m., an EF0 tornado formed and came down in a field east of Manchester Avenue and south of Lawndale Road southwest. It had maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour and was on the ground for a little more than a tenth of a mile. The Weather Service says the tornado struck a barn with a slate tile roof, dislodging between 50 and 100 tiles. Large branches were broken and several displayed damage consistent with a tornado. It briefly crossed an open field, moved east into a wooded area, and knocked down 2 trees before lifting. Uniontown police are investigating multiple fires they believe were intentionally set. On Sunday, a large trash bin at a warehouse on Apache Street and a bathroom at Uniontown Community Park were in flames. 2 bathroom facilities at the Diamond baseball fields off of Creebom Road were also set alight. That area is in the jurisdiction of the Summit County Sheriff's Office. A 16-passenger van was set on fire at the warehouse on Apache Street Monday. The blazes occurred between 1 and 4 a.m. Anyone with information is asked to call Uniontown Police at 330-699-6444. The Sisters of Charity Foundation of Canton has announced $1.5 million in grants for the first and second quarters of 2025. Funding for specific or short-term community needs includes $375,000 to Coleman Health Services for capital support of the Stark County Crisis Receiving Center. Funding to help build the capacity of local nonprofits includes $100,000 for YMCA of Central Stark County to support academic enrichment and social-emotional learning at summer camps in the Alliance, Canton City, and Plain local school districts over 15 months. $250,000 to support operations at child and adolescent behavioral health as part of funds to develop and hone programs focused on systemic change. A corrections officer accused of assaulting inmates at the Columbiana County Jail will stand trial July 2nd. 26-year-old David Ferguson Grants of Springfield Township appeared today in Common Pleas Court for a status conference hearing. He's charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of assault in the 2024 incidents. Ferguson Grants allegedly threw a handcuffed inmate to the floor September 18th. He's also accused of hitting the man's head against a wall. Ferguson Grants reportedly pushed another handcuffed inmate up a stairway and jumped on him September 24th. Both incidents were captured by jail video cameras. A Lisbon man has been sentenced to 10 to 11 years in prison on child pornography charges. 38-year-old Matthew Spack was handed the punishment Friday by Columbiana County Common Pleas Judge Megan Bickerton. He pleaded guilty in March to charges of pandering obscenity involving a minor and illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material or performance. Spack was given credit for 60 days in jail. He was designated a Tier 2 sex offender and must register every 180 days for 25 years. Police executing a search warrant at Spack's home found nude images of minor females on his phone. The activity occurred in November 2024. Youngstown Mayor Tito Brown is hiring an independent investigator to look into the residency of Councilwoman Amber White. An investigation of her home was previously done, but Brown ordered the second probe due to White owning a home in Liberty Township. She has owned it since 2022. White was elected in November 2023. A spokesman for the city of Youngstown tells WFMJ-TV this investigation is happening after multiple requests and recent information on White's address. They also say the mayor does not believe the first investigation was biased, but the second probe will look into what's come to light within the last 18 months. Former Austintown Township trustee Steve Kent won't be getting out of prison early. A motion for judicial release submitted last month to Mahoning County Common Pleas Court was denied. Kent is serving time following his conviction on a tampering with evidence charge in August 2023. Prosecutors said he reset his cell phone to impede an investigation. Kent was previously charged with having a sexual relationship with a Poland high school student while working as a resource officer. Kent was acquitted acquitted of the charges and released from the county jail last October after being granted a stay in the case. Another appeal for early release was denied in September. If the Trumbull County auditor has her way, she will be using her own money to pay for an appeal of a cybercrime case involving Bezetta Township. County commissioners will consider the proposal from Martha Yoder at their next meeting. She plans to personally fund a challenge of a lower court ruling that the township is due over $80,000 from the county for money lost in an email scam. In April 2024, hackers infiltrated the township fiscal officer's email. They posed as officials to redirect where tax revenue should be sent. The auditor's office sent money to a fraudulent account at Green Dot Bank. They did not verify the request. Yoder says the township was negligent by not using a two-step verification on the email account. She filed the appeal in the 11th District Court in April. The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office has identified 2 people killed at a Northfield Center Township home Friday. Deputies and other first responders were called to a home on Meadowbrook Way around 10:45 a.m. A man and woman were found inside the residence with gunshot wounds. 48-year-old Angela Jones was declared dead at the scene. 48-year-old Jared Jones died at Akron City Hospital. Medical examiner called the deaths a homicide-suicide. A girl inside the home was unharmed. She is currently in the care of Summit County Children's Services. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,866, up 105 points. The Nasdaq Composite closed at 19,714, up 124 points, and the S&P 500 ended the day 33 points higher at 6,038. It's 72 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly sunny skies for your afternoon with a high around 73. For the overnight, partly cloudy, cooler, a low around 56. Sunny skies Wednesday with highs reaching 81. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Clock to right center. Rodriguez watches, and that's going to go. Tie game, Jake Fraley. That is smacked to center field, base hit. Encarnacion Strand jogs home. Benson's on again, and the Reds are doubling up the Guardians 6-3.
Fly ball, left center field. That'll do it. Petro Armstrong going back. It's off the base of the wall. A little exclamation point from Brandon Marsh. Oh, everybody touches their bag, and the Phillies win it in the bottom of the 11th inning by a final score of 4-3.
And this one to center field. Denzel Clark on the move back after he stepped towards home plate and makes another catch.
Oh, my God. I've heard the list. I've seen the list of the greatest catches you're ever going to see in your life. If you don't have room for this one on your list, we're watching two different sports.
2 outs, the 2-2. Ground ball to first. Ball game. Murray State has done it. Upset in Durham. The Racers race on to Omaha.
Marchand at 37. And now the Panthers with a 2-0. Moving in on Skinner. Score! Bennett! 4-1-4.
What a crazy night last night in sports. There was some of the action that you may have missed. We want to let you in on that. We do that before we open every hour here on the show. Give you some highlights from 3 or 4 events that happened the night before and get you all caught up and give you a little Little cool audio. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. How are we doing on this Tuesday afternoon? A little bit after 5 o'clock, 12 minutes after 5 o'clock here on the program. Phone lines are open if you want to pop in, talk some sports with us today. Take the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day, 330-821-1310. That telephone number, keep it handy, 330-821-1310. If you prefer to text, we roll with that too. Here's our text line number, 330-924-7088. So keep that number handy as well. Welcome in, everybody. We got one big hour to go here. I want to thank my guest today, Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch, and, of course, my guy, Antonio Hall, for joining us in the 4 o'clock hour today as well. Sam Bourquin Show, poll question of the day. Pretty simple, but a lot of great response. Has NIL and the transfer portal affected the way that you feel about and watch college sports? Yes, no, undecided. What do you think? Poll question of the day. Has NIL and the transfer portal affected the way that you follow and watch college sports? A, yes. B, no. C, undecided. I'm going to read some of the responses coming up here in just a few minutes. We got some really good ones today. I mean, really well thought out. And I want to share those with people that have taken the time to do that. And we want to put that out over the air. Some really good response there. You can take that quiz on Facebook, AM 1310 WDPN, or the AM 1310 WDPN Twitter page as well. Guardians and Reds coming up tonight. Game 2 of a 3-game series. We're going to check in with Tito Francona and Stephen Vogt here in just a couple of minutes. Browns training camp is underway. Stanley Cup Finals. Boy, we had a brouhaha last night in Florida. Panthers beat the Oilers 6-1, but it was all about the fighting. We're going to play you some of those highlights coming up here in just a bit. Also coming up here at the bottom of the hour, on this day in sports history. Understand, we've got somebody on the line. Let's go to the phones at 330-821-1310. Good evening, or good afternoon, I should say. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show.
Yeah, my radio brother, what's going down?
Hey, what's happening?
Well, hey, Sam, I think what we have starting here with college the way they are, I think what you're going to see here in the future is the AFC and the NFC of college football.
I agree.
You're going to have 60 to 75 teams in Division I. This is what you're going to have. And what's going to happen with the Big Ten is very similar to what almost happened to the Minnesota Twins over 20 years ago. You remember when we were all up in arms about them possibly getting rid of the Minnesota Twins? You remember that?
Oh yeah, they were
early 2000s.
Yes, yeah, because remember they played in the old Metropolitan Stadium, and then they eventually built the Metrodome. Now they have Target Field, but there was some murky times back then, Tom, that the Minnesota Twins may not be from Minnesota much longer.
Yeah, and I remember we've been discussing this, and I think what's going to happen here, Sam, the Big Ten is going to see they're going to lose some teams here, and I'll tell you why. Up until about 1979 or 1980, Indiana and Northwestern were the two losingest programs in all sports.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now let's fast forward to 2025. Sam, who are still the two worst teams in college football? Indiana and Northwestern.
Yeah, well, Indiana made a little resurgent last year, and then I know before Pat Fitzgerald got in trouble, he had Northwestern. Now they weren't world beaters every year, but I would say 5 or 6 out of the 10 years they were pretty. They were pretty decent. But Tom, I think you're right. This is going to be the haves and the have-nots, and go ahead.
Yeah. Because you and I both know, Sam, that Northwestern is building a 30,000-seat stadium, okay? 30,000. Do you think that's going to pay top-notch kids to come to Northwestern in a freaking soccer stadium? Are you kidding me?
Why are they making that so small?
For soccer, I'm telling you, the stadium's average attendance since 1979 is 29,000. Okay.
Well, maybe that makes sense then. Maybe because they play at Welsh Ryan Field, and that place, the capacity was like 35,000. So maybe that's all they need.
Yeah, they played at Walsh Ryan Stadium. It seated about 50,000.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was that big.
Oh, yeah. It was about half full. And then they recently raised the building, and now they're playing at a soccer stadium. They're filling it up, but then again, McKinley gets a bigger crowd on Friday night in the Hall of Fame Stadium. So what you have here, Sam, is someone who wasn't looking forward. Okay, Indiana, at least they added onto their stadium some luxuries. I've been to both these places, okay, and Indiana is trying their best. But Sam, you and I both know that there are not going to be too many more Spignettis, okay? And I know you can buy teams because Mel Tucker did it at MSU back in 2021. But how many of those will you see? And how many collectives are going to jump on the Indiana bandwagon? And Sam, I see the numbers here, and the Big Ten in 10 years is going to look different. The SEC is going to look different because I think first of all, the Big Ten is going to have Notre Dame, and it's going to happen sooner or later. And you might have Florida State because Florida State's been talking about joining the Big Ten. So you're going to have an AFC and an NFC. And you're going to have an AFC South. You're going to have an NFC North. I mean, this is going to be, whether it's good or bad, it's coming because your guest that was on earlier was very informative on the happenings with these new college football collectives.
Oh, Adam Jardy from the Dispatch?
Yes.
Yeah, Adam did a great
I
job.
read some of his articles.
Yes.
And he's spot on with everything he says. But Sam, you and I, we've been around this game a long time. And with what's going on right now with the transfer portal, coaches can get up and leave whenever they want to, and players could transfer, but they had to sit out a year. Okay. So if you're going to allow coaches to break their contracts and, because a lot of kids come to school, Sam, because they want to play for this coach or that coach. They want to play for Coach Walton or Coach Laurinaitis. They're there, and then they might transfer when they leave. But see now, like Signetti, they followed him to Indiana last year, and like Tucker, they followed him to Michigan State. So what you have now is where you can form an instant team, but it doesn't have a foundation. It lasts a year. You might go 0-11 the next year. You can't build a foundation anymore, Sam. And like you were talking about earlier, with these kids, they had $4 million 1 year, and then they're down to $2 million the next year. This is turmoil. But Sam, this was a long time coming because the NCAA thought they could tell people how much money they can make, and that's why the University of Michigan doesn't respect the NCAA because they think in the end that there's going to be an overreach like they tried in the NIL thing. And of course, that's not going to happen because that's an entirely different ball of wax. At the end of the day, Sam, it's either the NCAA or Michigan. Okay. Either the NCAA throws the full weight of the NCAA at them, or they token do it. And the NCAA will lack even more respect, and they will replace the NCAA with a college football commissioner, and it'll be a 50 to 75 team league with all of the little guys watching through their screen doors.
Man, there's a part of me, I think you're right. And I can't say that I'm a huge fan of that, but I think that's where it's going. I do kind of feel I epitomize a little bit with the little guys. And whether it's, Akron or Kent or UTEP or Wyoming or what, I don't know, man. I feel bad for those guys. I do.
I do too. And, people say, well, maybe this might not affect Division II and Division III. Well, maybe not right now. Okay. But now in Division II and Division III, you know why you're there. You're there to get an education for the most part.
Right.
And you might have Cecil Stortz or a guy here and there that really does something great and stays in the NFL, Pierre Garçon. You might have one of those. But it's a rarity. So you're going in knowing you're trying to get an education and play football. So you're going to see that for a while longer. But how much longer, Sam? Because when there's change at the bottom, there's change at the top. And when there's change at the top, there's going to be change at the bottom. It's a simple gravity. And this is what we have now in college sports. I would say my personal opinion, Sam, and I know you want to move on to some other stuff, but
you're fine.
My personal opinion is I believe that we are headed down a road of college football that's going to change how you and I reminisce about the past. Hey, remember the 1980 Ohio State-Michigan game or the 1989 Ohio State-Minnesota game? Because you're going to treat it more like an NFL Saturday and an NFL Sunday than a college football Saturday. The future is coming, and whether we're ready for it or not, Sam,
it's not waiting.
This is what you want, and this is what you get.
It's not going to wait. Well, I said maybe this was when I was on up at Akron, it might have been. And I'm still going to stick to this. I think by 2030, maybe 2031, I think North Carolina and Florida State will be a member of the Big Ten. I truly believe that.
With that.
I believe
and
that.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Hey, before I let you go, what happened over the weekend? Buckeye Scoop and my man Kirk Barton down there with all the stuff that was coming down the wire about Michigan. I didn't hear anything like crazy concrete over the last 72 hours. What did I miss something? What happened there?
No, they're what they did is
just
they
biding their time.
Yeah, Connor Steigens was there, but he didn't. The speaking is done. The NCAA has presented their case to the University of Michigan. Now, as you know, Sam, you've been in media for a long time. And when you have these college football programs like Michigan, you have to be credentialed as a podcaster or like yourself, and you have to be credentialed. So when you're credentialed, you have to toe the party line. So if the University of Michigan feeds you something, that's what you're going with, okay? They are completely silent, Sam, and they are completely silent. There's no more nothing burger. There's no more nothing's going to happen. They know it's coming. And everything that I have told you is spot on until it isn't. And I believe that because Nevada Buck, a.k.a. Ken Stickley, he basically is reiterating the same thing. And he has people inside, Sam, and I know a couple of them, okay? So what I'm telling you is what I've been saying, and their lack of what they said over the weekend is largely because of the Michigan media machine shutting everybody down and keeping them quiet until it comes out.
Gotcha. The old listen to what they don't say. It says 1,000 things. Tommy, always a pleasure. Be good over in Salem, okay?
All right, my brother. Until next time.
There he goes. Tom in Salem, always got the juice here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, it's our favorite time of the day. On this day in sports history, right around the bend, the Sam Bourquin Show on a Tuesday on 1310 WDPN. Stream it live at AM1310WDPN.com.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
And we're back, 1310 WDPN. It's that time today, on this day in sports history. On this day in 1921, Babe Ruth became baseball's all-time home run leader with 120. No juice back then, right? 1944, the youngest player of the Major League Baseball pitched his first game. Say hello to Joe Nuxall. He was 15 years old, 10 months and 11 days. How about that? On this day in 1981, Pete Rose got his 3,630th career hit. That feat tied Stan Musial's National League record. On this day in 2005, Babe Ruth's 1919 contract that moved him from Boston to the Yankees sold at auction for $996,000. Holy cow. All right, it's time for the audio portion of On This Day in Sports History. On this day in 1948, Chuck Yeager exceeded the speed of sound in the Bell XS-1.
It's the first sonic boom ever made by a pilot. And it can only mean one thing. Yeager has broken the sound barrier.
I was thunderstruck. After all the anxiety, breaking the sound barrier turned out to be a perfectly paved speedway.
Just incredible. On this day in 1948. On this day in 1959, Rocky Colavito of the Cleveland Indians hit home runs in 4 consecutive at-bats. Here's the Rock. He fills us in.
Single game. First time up, I walked off of Jerry Walker, and then I went in the field, and Albie Pearson, who was playing for Baltimore then, I think he was their right fielder also. And he had a line shot down the right field line, and I was playing him to pull, and I come over and I caught the ball one-handed, going towards the line. And as I caught the ball, a fan in the lower, it was right above that wall, threw a whole cup of beer right in my face. I was livid. So I went up the next time up and I hit a home run. I was really angry, upset. A lot of people think it triggered it, but I think it was something that was going to happen anyway. I hit a home run off of Jerry Walker the first time up. Next 2 times up, I hit 2 in a row off of Arnold Porter Carrero. And then the last time I came up, it was the 9th inning, and I think it was the 9th inning, I'm pretty sure. 8th or 9th, I think it was the 9th. And Herb Score, who's a very close personal friend of mine and my roommate, says to me, "Okay, roomie," he said, "you go up there and you hit number 4. He said, don't fool around. Just go up and hit 4. And I said to him, "Are you kidding?" I said, "I was 3 for 28 coming in this game." I said, 4 hits is a month for me. I said, so I'll be glad to get a 4 for 4 night. If I get a single, I'll be happy. And that's a God's honest true story. And he said to me, he said, "BS." He said, "Go ahead and do it."
Go ahead and do it. Rocky Colavito. And he did it. On this day in 1983, Johnny Bench announced his plans to retire. He was a catcher in the majors for 16 years, but how about Johnny Bench night? He would hit his last home run as a Cincinnati Red.
The 0-1. Swung on and hit well to left field. Get out of here, baseball! He's gone! Oh, my God! Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. He makes the tour, and I'll tell you what, you can't write anything like that.
That was incredible. Johnny Bench on Johnny Bench night hits a home run to left field. And finally, on this day in 1997, Kevin Brown of the Florida Marlins threw his first no-hitter.
Got him looking. It's a no-no. And Kevin Brown is being mobbed. The second no-hitter in Marlin history.
And there it was, 1997, Kevin Brown throws a no-hitter. That's on this day in sports history. We'll get you to the news coming up.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is pushing back on the need for National Guard troops and active duty military to control protests in her city. The Trump administration has said the troops are needed to restore order, but local officials say protests, for the most part, have been manageable with their own law enforcement resources. The bulk of the protests have taken place in a small area of downtown LA. Bass did have this to say about vandals who have been setting cars on fire.
I do not believe that individuals that commit vandalism and violence in our city really are in support of immigrants. They have another agenda. If you support immigrants and the rights of immigrants to be in our city, you would not be tearing the city apart.
Earlier protests were peaceful, and local law enforcement say they have had to make some arrests recently. Protesters have been demonstrating against the Trump administration's ICE arrests throughout the city, and federal officials say they have no plans of slowing down with those arrests. President Trump says he plans to carry out his plans to dismantle the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, after this year's hurricane season. In the Oval Office, Trump said money will be directly allocated to states through either him or the Department of Homeland Security. Today, the president told reporters that FEMA failed North Carolina in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
The FEMA thing has not been a very successful experiment, very, very expensive, and it doesn't get the job done. You saw what happened in North Carolina under the past administration. And when we got in, we did a great job for North Carolina, brought it back, but it was a disaster, FEMA.
The Trump administration denied extra funding for Helene cleanup. Governor Josh Stein says it's a decision that will cost his state hundreds of millions of dollars. Authorities in the Austrian city of Graz say a former student opened fire at a school today, fatally wounding 10 people and injuring many others before taking his own life. Special forces were among those sent to the high school after a call at 10 a.m. Police say the assailant was a 21-year-old Austrian man who used two weapons, which he appeared to have owned legally. There was no immediate information on his motive. At least 36 people are dead after a shooting near an aid distribution site in Gaza. Israeli forces say they were targeting what they call suspects, but officials at a nearby hospital and UN officials on the ground say it was a tragedy that did not need to happen. More from ABC's Marcus Moore.
The Hamas-run Palestinian Health Ministry says 163 people have been killed in shootings near these aid distribution centers since they began operating about 10 days ago. And there have been at least 6 deadly incidents near these distribution sites in that time.
It's 73 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Tuesday afternoon, mostly sunny skies, a high around 73. Partly cloudy overnight with lows dipping to 56. Wednesday, sunshine and a high near 81. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the program. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. I want to thank my guest today, Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch, and my man, Antonio Hall, for talking a little National High School Football Hall of Fame with us today on 1310 WDPN. Our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day: has NIL and the transfer portal affected the way you follow and watch college sports? A, yes. B, no. C, undecided. I want to read some of these comments because these are really, really good. Tommy Michelides says he's not sure. He says it really hasn't changed the fact that college football is his number one sport to watch. I will say the portal and NIL really is a gut punch for smaller conferences like the MAC. The best of the best talent will play 1 year there and then leave for a bigger conference or whoever pays them more money. That's what I see. Eric Harkins and Kenny Smith say, no, it has not affected that they watch and follow college sports. Doug Parton says, it's not going to affect my watching Ohio State or Notre Dame. Chad says, yes, Sam, it has absolutely ruined the game. Timothy Abrick, Tim, hope you're doing well, pal. He says, no, hasn't ruined it for him at all. Mark Taylor says, yes, it's ruining the love of the game. Jim Montella says, yes, it's changed the way he has watched and followed college sports. Donald Thorley, Coach Thor, he says, definitely changed for him. He can't keep up with the rosters anymore. Jeff Haas says, nope, hasn't affected me at all. Gary Geis says, it has affected me the way I feel about the game, but I still love to watch college football. Interesting. It's affected me just a little. Just a little. But you know what? By the time I'm in front of the TV, or I'm listening on the radio, or I'm in person, all that stuff just kind of magically goes out the window. And I don't think about it. I'm watching a game, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. I see the teams on the field. They got the school colors on. They got their jersey, their name, their number. Let's go. I only think about it sometimes during the week or before, or maybe like on a Sunday night, I'll look back at all the college football games again. How the hell did that happen? That wouldn't have happened 10 years ago because Team XYZ wouldn't have had those players and they wouldn't have beat those other teams. That's when I think about it. But like when I'm in the heat of the battle, when I'm watching the game, I don't think about it at all. Ryan Brayler writes it, Sam, I'm going to go into depth here a little bit. As a Buckeye fan, especially football, this is a huge for long-term constant winning. I've been very critical of Ryan Day as a coach. I stand by my criticism, but with that said, he's the best CEO or whatever you want to call it. He understands the new system and what it takes. In the Big Ten, I expect Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, Oregon, Washington, and Iowa to be major players in NIL moving forward. Yeah, I would happen to agree there. I would happen to agree. Joe Volpe says, yes, it's going to see the same 5 or 6 teams every year because they have the most money. They have ruined college football. What are your thoughts? 330-821-1310. Or you can drop us a line on all of our social media platforms on YouTube, on X, Twitter, or Facebook. Oh, don't forget, coming up, Right around 6 o'clock, we're going to give you a chance to win another pair of tickets to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies this Saturday at Umstead Performing Hall in Canton. So stick around there for your chance to win. We're going to talk a little Reds Guardians, but before we do that, I want to let you know the field is set for the College World Series. All right, we had one more game last night, and there was an upset. Murray State knocked out Duke last night, so the Racers are in the College World Series. So this is what it looks like in Omaha, Nebraska, beginning this weekend. Louisville will take on Oregon State. Arizona will play Coastal Carolina. UCLA will go up against Murray State. And Arkansas will play LSU. It is a double elimination tournament. It will start this weekend in Omaha, Nebraska. How about the little guys? See here? 5-10 years ago, you wouldn't have Coastal Carolina and Murray State in the College World Series. No way. But they're here now. So you take a look at that, if you will. All right, Guardians and Reds coming up. Game 2 of that 3-game series at Progressive Field tonight. It'll be a 1:10 first pitch tomorrow. Oh, the Guardians are 8 games out of first. 8 games out of first. The Tigers are starting to run away with it. So Cleveland better get their stuff together. They lose last night 7-4. Let's check in a little bit with Stephen Vogt as he talked to the media about a minute or two after the game last night.
What did you think of Louis tonight?
I thought Louis battled. We talked before the game. He was attacking. I thought he threw strikes tonight. Just wasn't executing. He hung more pitches than he has his previous few outings. Just seemed like he wasn't getting the pitch when he needed to. They did a great job. I mean, they took what we gave them all night long. They were throwing singles out there left and right, hit a couple homers. They just kept the line moving. They, tip your cap to them. They had a great offensive night. Louis wasn't at his best, but still kept us in the game, gave us a chance.
What is it about Miley that makes him so effective still in his career?
He knows where to put the ball. He crowds righties with that cutter, and he throws just enough changeups to get you in between. And then he's got the four seam. The four seam has a little more velo this year than it has in years past. So I think, he knows how to pitch. He's a veteran. He's been around for a really long time, and he knows how to pitch. He works quickly. He disrupts your timing. Like I said, Wade Miley's a great pitcher, has been for a really long time. That cutter and changeup, they're still very good pitches.
Kickoff move when he got lane. I know when you look at the screen and everything, it looks like he's leaning going home, but how hard is that every year first to pick up and not know?
We don't call balks correctly.
What do you think of the at-bats Lane had in his first game back?
That was great to see him back. I thought, the previous game before he went back on the IL, I thought was his best swings he had taken since, coming off the IL the first time. And he picked up right where he left off. I mean, worked a couple walks, but his swings were right there. I mean, he's right on the ball. So it's just nice to have Lane back. I mean, it's such a jolt for our team and our lineup.
What do you see if you've answered this previously about that, what have you seen with Bo just in what he's been able to do over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, Bo's been, like we've talked about all year, Bo's been hitting the ball hard, just not getting results. And he's made some slight changes mechanically just with his setup. His move's a lot shorter. He's more direct. He's in the zone a lot longer with his bat path. For a while there, he was starting to get steep in and out. And to his credit, he identified it and talked with our hitting team. And our hitting team, they put their heads together. And Bo's just been outstanding offensively.
3 years tonight. How do you guys correct that going forward?
We did not play our brand of baseball tonight at all. This is the first night I've watched us, and we didn't look like ourselves. We need to take better care of the baseball. We need to run the bases better. We need to have better at-bats, and we need to throw more strikes. We haven't been ourselves. We've faced some really tough teams the last few weeks.
Stephen Vogt last night after the game, courtesy of the CLE Guardians TV. Now I want to go down the hall a little bit into the visitors clubhouse. This is courtesy of the Cincinnati Reds and FanDuel. Here's Tito Francona being interviewed last night after the Reds beat the Guardians 7-4.
This season against your former ball club, what are you telling your guys before these games?
We just do the same thing every day. I mean, we just try to win the game we're playing. I do think if you do it well enough, then people start asking questions like that, which is okay. But, I thought we played a really good game tonight, really crisp, good game. I thought Miley gave us, what we needed. And having him out there, I don't know, it felt like he gave everybody a lift. I mean, he's energetic and I know he's old, but he's energetic and he competes. And I just think there was good energy in the dugout.
What does it mean to you, if anything, to get a win in your return here to Progressive Field?
I had a really good time here. I mean, people were so nice to me. But I'm here now, and I love being here. I just really wanted us to win. And that doesn't take away from how I feel about a lot of people over there.
You guys have been looking for momentum, like sustained momentum much of the season. Do you feel like you're kind of on your way to that now, especially?
I would never say yes, because the minute I do, some more,
Fair enough.
That's why, like I was saying, I just think now we'll try to play good tomorrow. Because if you do that enough, then I think momentum does happen. And, you put yourself in where you have a chance to win every night. When you're not going to, but just give yourself a chance.
If Miley is more or less this going forward every time out, you take that?
I think in being fair to him, I think he has a chance to be better because he hasn't pitched, in his rehab was all over the map, rain, and he got taken out one inning. So he's shaking off some rust, but he can pitch. I mean, he competes, and I don't know about covering first. He looks a little bit like me running over there, but he's pretty good, man. I'm telling you, he competes. There's a reason he's still pitching.
You get the add-on runs. It's got to be something you like to see with all that stuff going on in the late inning.
Kept looking at my card, and I'm thinking, God, Hosey's going to come up, and I kept thinking, just get one more. Kept saying that because he's that good where you always know where he is on your lineup card. Remember feeling like that with Miggy in Detroit, and this guy's kind of the same. You don't ever lose track of where he is.
7 runs and no crooked numbers.
Say again?
7 runs and no crooked numbers. It's crazy,
Yeah, I don't care.
Right. You don't care how you get them, but it seemed like they came back every inning.
I thought we played a crisp game all the way around. We did some good things.
Did I see right? The 5th inning when CES was about to go out in the on-deck circle, did you kiss his bat?
You better believe it. Do whatever it takes, man. I don't care.
What made you decide to do?
He was looking for a little help. I gave it to him.
There's Tito last night. God, I miss Tito. I really like Stephen Vogt, but I miss Tito. Oh, man. All right, they'll do it again tonight, 6:40 up in Cleveland, the Reds and the Guardians game 2 of that 3-game series. And don't forget, 1:10 first pitch tomorrow, downtown Cleveland. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. You can text the program as well at 330-924-7088. We'll take a break. The Sam Bourquin Show returns in a moment on 1310 WDPN.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
And can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources.
What are we doing
Trusted
today,
spaces
Coach?
for more
So, today we're going to work on our checking on small businesses are Sorry, the I heart heard- of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, we got about 8 minutes left in the program, 330-821-1310. Don't forget, you can always watch and listen live on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. We invite you to do that each and every day. Of course, we love when you dial us up on 1310 WDPN and check us out that way as well. We are with you Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 p.m., and we certainly enjoy your company. We enjoy you stopping in. We invite you to stay in as long as you want, and just as long as you come back and make this a part of your day here on 1310 WDPN. We're going to get to that hockey fight here in a minute. I want to give you some of the tee times for the upcoming PGA Tour, the U.S. Open at Oakmont, coming up this weekend. Now, remember we had Maxwell Moldovan on last week? Okay, former Green Bulldog, Ohio State Buckeye, qualified for the U.S. Open for the 4th year in a row. Yikes. They're making him tee off at 7:07 a.m. Max, good luck, buddy. He's in there with a group of Evan Beck and Justin Hicks. So Thursday at 7:07 a.m. in Oakmont, Max Moldovan will make his quest to make a little noise at the U.S. Open. All right, some of the really cool groups as far as the tee times are concerned. 7:29, you got a group, Xander Schauffele, Jose Luis Ballester Barrio, and Bryson DeChambeau. 7:40 group, you've got Shane Lowry, Justin Rose, and Rory McIlroy. Group that goes off at 1:03 p.m., Minwoo Lee, Justin Thomas, and Brooks Koepka. 1:14 group, you've got Jordan Spieth, John Rahm, and Dustin Johnson. How about this group? Are you kidding me? 1:25 Eastern Time on Thursday. Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, and Scotty Scheffler. Whew, save me a seat for that one. 7:18 tee time. You got Harris English, Tommy Fleetwood, Keegan Bradley. That's a pretty good group there. 7:51, Patrick Cantley, Siwoo Kim, and Lucas Glover. That's a pretty good group. Former Buckeye Jason Day will tee off at 1:36 with Corey Connors and Patrick Reed. And at 1:58, you've got a group of Mackenzie Hughes, Chris Kirk, and Tony Finau. So that's all coming up beginning Thursday at Oakmont for the 2025 U.S. Open Golf Tournament. Good luck to Max. I hope he has a great weekend. All right, NHL last night. Whoo, the punches were flying in Florida. The Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers last night 6-1. So the Panthers have taken a commanding 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. Game 4 will be tomorrow night down there in South Florida. The last night's game was put away. And that just added to it, man. At some point late in the third quarter last night, everybody wanted to fight, and they did.
As we walk the cup again, it's only game 3. Frederick taking a run at, and now he just got a penalty. Frederick just cross-checked Bennett, broke his stick, and now Bennett's going to get even. That was clear, and Nurse. You're just going to start seeing 10-minute misconducts getting handed out. Galjevic and Nurse to the left of your screen, throwing punches. Schmidt's helmet has come off. He's tackling with Connor Brown. Galjevic still going at it with Nurse. Nurse is holding tight. He's holding tight there. There's Bennett and Frederick. Nurse and Gadjevich continue to go at it.
Oh, they are just duking it out. You could hear the crowd building to a crescendo as Kenny Albert had the call last night on TNT. Man, that was wild. There was some fighting going on. And of course, the game was already intact, so it didn't really matter. But holy smokes,
that has to hurt your fists more than anything. Punching those helmets like
a little bit,
right?
Like, a little bit.
Those things are built for impact, and they're just wailing on them.
Yeah,
that cannot feel good.
I mean, they were punching, wrestling, pulling, dragging. I mean, God knows what else was going on down there, but that reminded me of the old days in the NHL when they just had fights like that all the time. They have really taken fighting out of the NHL. They really have, and probably for the better. But I'm telling you, 60s, 70s, 80s, even a little bit into the 90s, there were some fights in the National Hockey League. And it was usually, there used to be a guy on the Chicago Blackhawks. He was a real goon. Stu Grimson was his name. They called him the Grim Reaper. And this guy, he would just take your head off with a stick. And he didn't care. He would fight anybody. And he ended up going to Anaheim, and I think he went to a couple other teams, maybe the Devils at the end, I'm not sure. But he was a guy, he didn't care about shooting, scoring. He defended, and he would fist fight. That's all he would ever do. And he was a guy, man, you saw him coming on the ice, you went the other way. Stu Grimson, he was a real piece of work. All right, we are going to wrap things up. But before we go, we've got a pair of tickets to give away right now, 330-821-1310. 2 tickets to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies in Canton this Saturday at 6 p.m. If you want to go, be caller 1, 330-821-1310. And good luck, and we hope you are a winner. Thanks to Ryan Rainsberg. Thanks to all of you for participating in the show today. Thanks to my guest, Antonio Hall, and Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch. But most of all, thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, go Guards, go Bucks, go Browns, go Cavs. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.